Welcome back, everybody. I'm Carlos Navarro, your host for the week. Russ is in Cuba with his wife. Here with Dirty Jim, Angel, Ryan, and Angelique, and we're Turn Up Tuesday. Hope you are having a wonderful Tuesday. If your Monday was bad, forget about it. It's over. Don't invest in that history. Invest in your destiny. Focus that mental energy you could be just losing on things that are gone on today. And you're right here listening to the Monsters, and I hope you laughed a couple times. Maybe a thought has been provoked. Maybe a chuckle has been had. I think so. Throughout. What time is it? Yeah, probably so.
It's 8:25, and I've already gotten 3 political text messages. That's what time it is.
That's what I'm.
Yeah, it's obviously political. See, it's election day. You know, we talked a little bit about it earlier. Go out and vote. You know,
vote.
Vote. What
are you going to tell me to vote for next? No.
No, I mean, I've made it a million times known. I'm a Democrat. I'm voting for Andrew Gillum. I like him. You can vote for whoever the hell you want. I ain't gonna.
That's the beauty of it.
You know,
do we do write-ins in Florida?
I think you can. I know Jeff used to do one.
You can in certain. I don't think there is one in this ballot.
Yeah, I just wondering.
Yeah, well, you know, it's election time, right? So what happens is things get stoked up. I mean, we see it on the news. You can take a timeline in history and look at the midterms and look at elections, and you can see the contrived controversies that are created in order to sway one side or the other. And then there's a couple going on right now. Obviously, the caravan going down. I mean, we had the president post a video, a commercial that was pulled from Fox News, pulled from Facebook, and yet he's still tweeting. Oh, my God, just disgusting. And then this controversy with Pete Davidson. Now, if you don't know, Pete Davidson is Ariana Grande's ex-fiance. Like, that's basically what it's boiled down to at this point. Like, I think his career... I know he's funny. He's on freaking SNL. Never been my particular cup of tea, but obviously he's talented because he's doing his thing. But is it me, or does he always just seem to be in some controversy?
Yeah, and in the bitches kind of way. I don't know how to explain it. It's like just always controversy with him and his girlfriend who looks like a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Or him saying something that it's in completely poor taste. I mean,
So you know, he just made the news. He was on SNL and he did the Weekend Update, and everybody is up in arms. I shouldn't ever say everybody, but a lot of people are up in arms as to what he said. Now, what he said, as there was a candidate, Texas Republican congressional candidate, Dan Crenshaw, he's running for office, and he posted a picture of him. He's also a Navy SEAL in Afghanistan, so he's a legit badass, obviously.
He has an eye patch, right?
Eye patch, and the eye patch looks badass, but eye patches are comical. Let's be honest, folks. You add an eye patch into any situation, it's gonna get a little funnier. That's why I watch Days of Our Lives, because of Patch.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay? He wasn't even funny. He kind of looks like this guy, actually. And during a Weekend Update...
Whoa.
Yeah.
You just said something really offensive there, buddy.
Yeah, he looks like Patch from Days of Our Lives. During the Weekend Update, he said, this is what Pete Davidson said, not Carlos Navarro. You may be surprised to hear he's a congressional candidate from Texas and not a hitman in a porno movie. Laughing, he added, I'm sorry. I know he lost his eye in the war, or whatever.
That was the thing.
And that was the thing that got people upset. Now, obviously, there's a whole group of people that say this should never be said because it's a veteran. It deals with war.
Multi-tours.
Like I said, the guy's a Navy SEAL. He's a badass. You just got to say Navy SEAL. You know he's a badass. Now, you had Sarah Palin coming out and asking for Lauren Michaels' job and asking for and so... What I want to tell you guys is this is a contrived controversy that is happening to affect election day polls because it is a political thing, because SNL is very known to be liberal, extremely liberal, bash the hell out of Trump in many different ways. And so what I ask is somebody who is on a show every day doing 5 hours of improv, because that's what we do here, what is the line? Because to me, where I see this being an issue, obviously, there's veterans of war, there's current soldiers, there's anybody who is part of the military could see they get offended about it. Now, I also know a lot of military members, and they're some of the craziest, wildest, jokingest people I've ever met, where I'm around and I'm like, oh, I can't believe they're saying that. I can't believe they're saying that. Jimmy, is this wrong? Should he have never have said this?
I think the last part of the statement was the questionable part, where he kind of discounted him losing his eye in the war.
Right.
I mean, had he just said, and believe it or not, he's not a porn hitman or a hitman in a porn movie. Had he stopped right there, I think it would have been fine. It's always going to be controversial when you make a statement about somebody who's been injured in war, especially now. This environment is extremely harsh.
Absolutely.
For that scenario. I believe even the guy himself, I think even the guy said he shouldn't lose his job. He should just be known as a guy who can make that joke.
Right.
I'm a free market guy, so I don't think the guy should lose his job either. But now we know.
Yeah.
I mean, now we know. You use that information to purchase tickets how you may for comedy shows, or pass on to your kids what this guy may have said about a guy who fought for this country voluntarily on more than one occasion, put himself right back in to war to fight for the country's well-being.
Angel, what do you think?
He's going. Not that whether he should or shouldn't. He's probably going to lose his job, but just because of the climate that we live in. And look at the other entertainers that have caught themselves in these crosshairs, right? It's one thing for him to make fun of or poke or question what happened to his parents in 9/11. Yeah, we know that he's gone through tragic experience.
He gets that card, right? Like
I understand that, and that's one thing because that's him talking about something about his personal life. It's another thing when it seems like or it comes off like you're being somewhat dismissive to someone who volunteered to defend our country. And unfortunately, there's no right way to make that joke. You're either known as a guy that does that joke, like the congressman said, or you're not. But to expect not to get any controversy from that's naive on Pete's part. He knew what he was doing.
Sure, Ryan.
I gotta. I mean, I'm a big believer of the person who should be outraged should be the target of the joke. And this guy came out, he released a video with him talking, the congressman elect or whatever. He said,
hey,
Dan
Crenshaw, Texas Republican congressional.
And he said, look, what's offensive is the joke isn't funny. And he's like, I don't think war wounds should be, a lot of vets don't want that to be a joke. Fine. Okay, cool. And then he says, but in this same video goes, but this outrage culture that we're currently in right now is insane, and we need to stop doing that.
100%. That's why I'm bringing Angelique. You're not here every single day. We talk about this a lot. This contrived outrage culture that is used as a tool to wedge us as a society against each other.
Yes.
It's intentionally done, folks. And
it's on both sides.
It's on both sides, but when it comes to politics, it's always the worst. And this is a political thing. And with any way you look at it, especially election. Well, how do you feel about this, Angelique? You're not somebody in here every day cutting up the jokes. You know.
Yeah. I don't know. Like you said, it's someone's going to find offense, and I do not think that any veteran should be made fun of, especially with an injury.
Right.
Anything. They should definitely be given their credit and their I don't want to say reverence, but
what do you think should
definitely
happen? What do you think should happen to an elected official if they talk about if somebody, an elected official, talks about a veteran in a bad way?
Well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If the comedian can't do it, then someone else can't do it.
Right. And so I think anybody, and this is my take. First off, I don't think Pete Davidson should be fired. He's a comedian. He's doing a joke. That's all it was. This was not a platform for him to hate veterans, to attack veterans, to take them down. We have to calm down a little bit, folks. This was not a man going after our military. It was a silly throwaway joke that didn't even land. And if you're part of the outrage on this, you're one of the sheep. Sorry.
Yeah, but SNL made itself a target by being political commentary.
No doubt.
The right, whatever, is going to attack them at any moment they can.
You're absolutely right. It's fair game. I'm not saying one side does it and the other side doesn't. I get it.
And it's a game. It's fair
It is a game.
And that's what they're doing.
But if we're going to do the game, let's play by rules, right? And these are my rules. You cannot complain at Pete Davidson and say he should be fired and support the president at the same time. The president said things about John McCain that are despicable.
Yes.
Completely despicable.
Yes.
Disgusting.
I'm getting that on the Texas service right now.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
And if you support him, you cannot come down on Pete Davidson, a comedian who said one joke. Donald Trump, the leader of the Republican Party, went after Gold Star families. This is my point. The outrage is contrived. That's all I'm saying. And they're doing it to piss you off. I have no skin in the game. I don't care who wins. Guess what? I got a damn good life. It's probably going to be the same either way. If Gillum wins, DeSantis wins, Trump wins, this wins, this wins. But I'm just telling you the truth. This is what it is. So be real to yourself. And if you support a man that said that I don't hang out with losers that get shot down in a plane, I hang out with winners. John McCain's not a winner. Then don't come at Pete Davidson, dog, because you're a hypocrite. You're a straight up hypocrite. If you came down on Trump when he said those things, then you know what? You got it right. You got it right. Mm-hmm. If you still voted for him, it's a little weird, you know? But I don't think, as somebody who performs every single day, that we should be coming down on stupid ass. Look, Pete just had a breakup with Ariana Grande, man. He's going through things. His heart is broken.
But he does dark comedy. I'm tired of comedians apologizing for being comedians.
He should not apologize.
All right, but all right. Then how does a guy? Because Anthony Jeselnik has made his entire career off this, and he knows how to walk that line. He knows how to do that.
He's misstepped before, though.
But to the point where it's cost him anything.
Cost him his TV show.
He's not on SNL. That's the big difference.
It cost him his Comedy Central television show for Shark Party.
But
100%.
But has he slowed down?
No, it didn't slow him down at all. By the way, apologizing for that was the biggest regret of his life.
And this is the thing. What cost him that job is not because he's had a great career. Is that he worked for somebody and that network felt the heat. Again, and Pete Davidson, he doesn't have to apologize for that, but he works for a company.
Yeah,
and that company has sponsors, and that company has responsibilities to other employees. What's going to cost Pete Davidson his job is
let the market decide.
Is a weak joke, and if he wants to go out that way, that's on him.
True.
But is that what we want? We just want everything to be vanilla. Like
that's how it is. When you work in the corporate structure, you don't want to. If you don't want to have to face those or answer those questions, then don't work for ABC. Don't work for the NBCs. Don't work for Disney.
But
go out on your own.
But NBC's already toting that line by doing the stuff that they do on Saturday Night Live. They're doing controversial stuff, and they're doing it at 11 o'clock at night when you can do this.
That is the thing. It's like you can't let them go, hey, no, you guys be as crazy as you want. And then you say one joke out of line, and then NBC goes, sorry.
But more importantly, the CEO of Coke hasn't written a letter yet.
But that's the right that the network has. That's the right that they get to do because they get to write the rules.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, he does work for a major corporation, and that is all part of it. Now, what's going to happen with his career after this? Does he get fired and then he just does stand up?
I don't think he's built that much to do that, man. I don't think his career is.
He's the luckiest man in the world. Let's just get that right out of the way. The dude's an odd-looking guy. He started stand up when he was like 16 or something.
And that's coming from an odd-looking guy.
The fact that you point out that he's an odd-looking guy.
So anyway, it's serious.
Yeah. Oh man, look, I hope whether that pissed you off or made you think or whatever. That's what this conversation is about. We all have our opinions, but don't get pulled into the contrived mess that is being spoon-fed to you to get you outraged. You are listening to the Monsters in the Morning.